Welcome to Reading the Bible with Pastor. Today we're on John chapter 7. After this, Jesus went about in Galilee. He would not go about in Judea, because the Jews were seeking to kill him. Now the Jews' feast of booths was at hand. So his brothers said to him, "Leave here and go to Judea, that your disciples also may see the works you are doing. For no one works in secret if he seeks to be known openly. If you do these things, show yourself to the world." The Feast of Booths you can read about in Leviticus chapter 23, starting at verse 33, and I'll read a little bit here. "And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel, saying, On the 15th day of this 7th month, and for 7 days in the Feast of Booths to the Lord. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work. For 7 days you shall present food offerings to the Lord. On the 8th day you shall hold a holy convocation and present a food offering to the Lord. It is a solemn assembly. You shall not do any ordinary work." This was a celebration to the Lord that He provides for them in their crops, and was a time for them to gather and to be reminded of their stay in the wilderness, in booths, tents, if you will. And they would gather for 8 days. The 1st and 8th day would be a day of no work, and it would be a time for the Jews at the time of Jesus to gather into Jerusalem. His brothers, his family basically, is telling him to go into Jerusalem and make yourself known as this miracle worker. They did not believe truly that Christ Jesus was coming to be the salvation of the world. If we continue reading on verse 5, it says, "For not even his brothers believed in him. Jesus said to them, My time has not yet come, but your time is always here. The world cannot hate you, but it hates me, because I testify about it that its works are evil. You go up to the feast. I am not going up to this feast, for my time has not yet fully come." He was talking about his death in Jerusalem was not yet to fully come. After saying this, he remained in Galilee. But after his brothers had gone up to the feast, then he also went up, not publicly, but in private. The Jews were looking for him at the feast and saying, "Where is he?" And there was much muttering about him among the people. While some said, "He is a good man," others said, "No, he is leading the people astray." Yet for fear of the Jews, no one spoke openly of him. About the middle of the feast, Jesus went up into the temple and began teaching. The Jews therefore marveled, saying, "How is it that this man has learning, when he has never studied?" So Jesus answered them, "My teaching is not mine, but his who sent me. If anyone's will is to do God's will, he will know whether the teaching is from God, or whether I am speaking on my own authority." Here Jesus went up to the Feast of Booths on his own terms, and is there doing God's will, teaching the people. We'll continue with verse 18. "The one who speaks on his own authority seeks his own glory, but the one who seeks the glory of him who sent him is true, and in him there is no falsehood. Has not Moses given you the law? Yet none of you keeps the law. Why do you seek to kill me?" The crowd answered, "You have a demon. Who is seeking to kill you?" At this time, it was not known that people wanted to kill Jesus, but Jesus knew, as was said earlier, that Judas wanted to kill him. Jesus answered them, "I did one work, and you all marveled at it. Moses gave you circumcision, not that it was from Moses, but from the fathers. And you circumcise a man on the Sabbath. If on the Sabbath a man receives circumcision, so that it is the law of Moses may not be broken, are you angry with me because on the Sabbath I made a man's whole body well, healing on the Sabbath? Do not judge by appearance, but judge with right judgment." Jesus is calling them to attention here of the mercies of God, still acting for the people, and even healing on the Sabbath. We'll continue next time with John chapter 7, starting at verse 25.